It had been a silly day. Katie learned that if you blow bubbles in the wind, some of them break on the end of your nose. Orbie discovered that if you try to skip rope too fast, your toes get all tangled up. And they both found out that even with paper plate masks, everybody still knows who you are. That night they giggled when Dad made up the snorkel monster during tub time. In bed they loved it when Dad added the snorkel monster to the silliest story ever. He had Mom making swooshing sounds when the snorkel monster slid down long, slimy chutes. Katie and Orbie wished the story would never end, but Mom dragged Dad out of the room, telling him that if he didn't let the children sleep, the real snorkel monster would burn his toast in the morning. Katie and Orbie nestled down in their bed and closet. Orbie asked Katie if there really was a snorkel monster. She said no, Dad was making it up to be fun. Orbie agreed it certainly was. Katie thought that maybe the snorkel monster could make a tidal wave in the bathtub one day. Orbie and Katie loved to make big waves. Orbie added that if the snorkel monster had made a tidal wave today, the mom monster might have been angry. Katie had to agree. Soon, both Katie and Orbie drifted off to sleep, which was good because it was getting late. Orbie was thinking about the snorkel monster and how he could cause a huge tidal wave that would rise up in the sky. It would rise higher than the door, higher than the roof, higher than the top of the trees. It would go up and up and up until it stopped and shook. And with a thundering crash, come down again. Orbie jumped down off the closet bar. He shook himself awake. That was very scary. Orbie tiptoed over and tapped Katie gently on the shoulder. Katie was half asleep and looked at Orbie in confusion. Orbie burbled that he wondered if the snorkel monster could ever make a huge tidal wave that would climb up into the sky and then crash down again. Katie rubbed her eyes so she could see Orbie clearly. He did look a little worried. And Katie smiled a sleepy smile and touched Orbie's arm. She told him that there was no way he could cause such a huge tidal wave because he didn't exist. Orbie looked at Katie. Katie knew almost everything. She must know this for sure. He'd had a silly dream, and now that he knew for sure nothing like that could happen, he felt better. Orbie climbed back up into the closet. He was thinking of what Katie said about the fact that the snorkel monster didn't exist, and soon he was asleep again. Now in his sleep, he imagined he was standing right in front of the snorkel monster. Slime dripped from its body. Orbie told it that it wasn't real, and that was that. The snorkel monster breathed snorkel all over him. Orbie looked at his arms. They were snorkeled. He looked up at the snorkel monster again and told him that he knew he was trying to scare him, but he was Orbie and he didn't scare easily. The snorkel monster shook with rage. Orbie reminded him again that he didn't really exist. He told the snorkel monster that he actually wasn't there, and to prove it, Orbie poked him on the end of the nose. That's when a very scary thing happened. He felt the end of the snorkel monster's nose at his fingertip. Orbie stopped. He wondered if you could feel the end of the snorkel monster's nose, if he positively wasn't real. Just as Orbie was thinking about this, hot, snorkely breath fell on his shoulder. Orbie shuddered. He looked up at the drooling, gargantuan monster and believed that Katie was absolutely wrong. The snorkel monster must have thought that Orbie looked like dinner because it began to lower its enormous, gaping mouth down towards Orbie. Closer and closer it came. Orbie tried to run, but his legs wouldn't move. He pushed with all his might, but still his legs wouldn't move. He yelled for help, but it was too late. The snorkel monster closed his mouth around him. Orbie was inside the mighty jaws of the snorkel monster. One thing was for sure. It definitely was real. Large teeth chomped up and down. Orbie danced around on the tongue to avoid them. Just as he was thinking he would never see Katie or Mom or Dad again, a slimy, wet thing wrapped itself around Orbie's neck and pulled him backwards. It was the tongue. Orbie was going down the throat of the horrible monster, and no one would ever know what happened to him. All of a sudden, Orbie felt a soft sort of wet feeling on his cheek. It reminded him of one of Katie's kisses. But he had no time to think about that now. He was going down and would never be seen again. Then he heard his name. Orbie. Oh, no, thought Orbie. Katie has been swallowed by the wretched monster, too. He looked for her. And when he opened up his eyes, that's when he realized that he was still in the closet. Katie was hugging him and giving him little kisses on his cheek to calm him down. He also realized that there was no snorkel monster in the room. They were alone and alive. Orbie had been dreaming again. Orbie hopped down from his perch and hugged Katie. He told her that she had saved him from the more than terrible snorkel monster. Katie looked around the room. There was no snorkel monster at all. Katie told Orbie that he was having a dream, not a very nice one. Mom and Dad opened the bedroom door. They wondered what the two best friends were doing up talking when they were supposed to be sleeping. Orbie told them his horrible dream, and Mom explained that when dreams are that bad, when they make you feel scared, they're called nightmares. She told Orbie that nightmares happen sometimes for no reason. Although they make you feel afraid, it's just your imagination. Orbie looked at Dad. Mom explained that Dad was the snorkel monster for fun only. Orbie just got that mixed up when he fell asleep. Dad hugged Orbie and told him that he would never let anything like a snorkel monster get him in real life. Orbie snuggled into Dad's arms. He knew it was true. If you ever have a nightmare, you need to remember it's only a dream. It isn't real. And the next time you go to sleep, remember to think happy thoughts, so that all your dreams will be sweet, just the way they're supposed to be.